Welcome to the Highlander cEDH podcast, a show where we talk about tournament cEDH. Real quick, before we get started, a couple announcements as usual. The Highlander 3 event is upon us. It's coming in late September on the 26th. It's going to be at the Woodside Event Center in Broadview Heights, Ohio, and I'm rolling out the announcements on prizing. So we're going to have the usual feature match prizes every round. We're going to have packs given out to different players. We have the normal scaling prize pool for cash for our winners. And then I just announced on our last episode that I'm going to reiterate here. I'm giving away this puppy. A nice, crispy City of Traders, which is tucked back away in its safe little triple-sleeved case. So very excited for that event. And if you can make it, the link's going to be in the description. I think we're almost up to 60 players now, which is pretty cool. And I'm expecting it to get to like that 80, 90, maybe even 100 mark. That's my goal. My conversation today is with, some people have heard of him, Alex Hayer, a.k.a. Hire. He's a core voice on the YouTube cEDH channel Playing with Power. He's a tournament organizer of the popular West Coast series, The Fishbowl, which just had its 7th event this year. And he's also, just casually a member of the Wizards of the Coast official Commander format panel. So we talk about his intro today into the format, how he got started playing Commander and then quickly evolved into a cEDH player, how he got, started playing on Playing with Power, editing YouTube videos and being a gameplay member on that channel, running the Fishbowl every year and how it's grown into what it's become today. I didn't know this, but he also recently became a judge. And so that's really awesome. And then, we talk about, how he got onto the format panel, what that call was like from Gavin, and, why he was called up to essentially become, the representative for cEDH for the Commander format panel, and how that's gone this year, his goals, what he's tried to accomplish with that. And then the fun part is we actually go into like, hey, if I own the format panel, I would ban these cards and I would unban all these broken cards. And so it was a really interesting conversation. And then we wrapped it all up with, the decks that he's brewed since his time playing cEDH. He's one of the progenitors of the Big Flips Kinnan list, which was one of the original Kinnan lists that had success in cEDH. So we go over, I pulled the deck up as it sat way back in the day. He still had it on his MOXFIELD, so we checked that out. We looked at the new list that he runs on Kinnan. We looked at Kenrith, the Return King, which he's brewed with Comedian and a bunch of other players. So it's just like a super packed episode, and I had a blast recording it. And I do want to say after the fact that thank you so much, Hire, for hopping on. He came on and he had like the worst cold ever. So he suffered through and we had a great time. And so I'm really excited to deliver that to you guys. So without further ado, let's get into the show. All right. Hire, what's up, man?
Hello. How y'all doing?
How we doing?
Man, I'm nursing a cold. I got some tea. I got some tea with me right here. Well, it's getting blurred out, but it's okay.
Ginseng green.
There we go.
What do we got? Earl Grey. What's going on over there?
The name of the tea is a little sus. So it's a tea that has honey and echinacea, and it's meant to help your throat.
Okay.
But
Okay.
The name of the tea is a little sus.
Well, I appreciate you grabbing the tea for me, and maybe we'll talk some tea. Maybe we'll spill the tea? Maybe we'll spill some tea, or who knows? Yeah. Well, thanks for coming today, man. I really appreciate you hopping on. I was as I was looking for guests, you were like top of the list. Would love to get Hire on to talk about your journey into cEDH, how everything's gone this year with the Fishbowl, talk about the Commander format panel and how it's been working with Wizards, and just being the rep from the cEDH player's perspective for all of us, the voice in the room where, I feel like it historically hasn't really been there as much, but that's okay. That's why you're on there. So I would love to just kind of start with your journey to cEDH, because I feel like a lot of people know you from the playing Critical League and just running the Fishbowls every year, but not a lot of people maybe know how you actually got into playing cEDH and coming from, I would assume, casual Commander, but maybe 60 card, I don't know. Do you want to kind of give me a little bit of a rundown of just like, take me back to like...
Sure. So the year is 2009.
Okay.
And my friends moved away. We had all moved down to San Diego together, and we all played Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually together. And they moved back home because that's how life does when you're in college sometimes. And when they moved back, I was like, what are you guys getting into now? What's the hobby? What's the new hobby? And they were like, we're playing Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering. It sounds like a more complicated Yu-Gi-Oh.
What the heck?
They're like, it's actually a much more balanced Yu-Gi-Oh because you have to actually like pay costs versus Yu-Gi-Oh. You don't have to really pay costs like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I went into a game store and I was like, hey, I don't know what this game is, but my friends are getting into it. I need to learn how to play it. And the owner of the store was like, all right, I'm going to make you better than your friends. And I was like, sick.
You put on your white belt and you were like, all right, yeah. Sensei, let's do this.
All right, Sensei, wax on, wax off, whatever, like I'm with you, bud.
Yeah.
He introduced me to green because I told him I like big creatures and big things. And he's like, all right, well, give this a shot. And at the time, that block was a Shards of Alara block, and that went right into like Zendikar and World Lake and Rise of the Eldrazi. And so Emrakul, OG Emrakul was legal in Standard, and you could easily get it out because Elvish Piper was also legal. So you could go turn 1 land dork, pass, turn 2 land dork, pass, turn 3 Elvish Piper, turn 4 activate, get Emrakul.
Yeah.
And it was like a problem because it was so fast. It was so fast to get a turn 4 Emmy onto the battlefield. Like that's just like it's not okay. And I got addicted to like these large creatures that just were obnoxious and shouldn't be on the battlefield. And we played that, and then I got over it because Standard kept rotating, and I was like, all the decks, the things I fell in love with Magic for are gone. I can't play them. But my friends, they moved back. They moved back to San Diego, and then we all started playing like just together all the time, and we were like, well, let's play EDH. Like this seems like Commander seems like a good thing. And that by that time it was like 2014, 2015, and I started playing EDH. I got introduced to a deck called Selvala, Heart of the Wilds.
Heard it's pretty good.
Yeah. But it was like, in the beginning, there was no Brostorm. It was just like regular Selvala. And I started playing it. I really liked what it did, and it gave me all the green stuff, and I could have put all the good big creatures into it, which is great. And then I saw a card in someone's deck. It was a green enchantment for 6 called Lurking Predators.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to do only this. This seems fantastic.
I would like to cheat all my big fatties into play, please. Thank you.
Yeah. And shortly after that, I went up to Santa Barbara to play Magic with my friends who I learned how to play Magic with. And when we'd play Magic together, it'd be like 7-person pods. And I've told the story in other things, but I'm going to tell it again because it's a great story. We play 7-person pods, and it's like one pod for the entire night. Right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I have one friend who's playing like Mass Land Destruction, Gruul, Omnath. Another person's playing like Chaos Nekusar. And then we have another person playing like Ally, like Tazri, but it's like Ally Fall. So it's kind of like Landfall, but with allies. And there's a bunch of allies. This sounds like
hell on earth. This sounds like insanity.
It was just insane. Like all this like random stuff. And so I show up. I'm playing Selvala, and everyone does the same thing. Turn 1 land pass or blah blah blah. And I do turn 1 land or elf pass. And then my turn 2 is land Selvala pass. And like this is normal. Everyone's seeing the same things, right? But my turn 3 is land Phyrexian Soulgorger, which is an 8/8 for 3. And everyone goes like, wait a minute. Hey, he has a lot of mana, guys. He has 8 mana.
Selvala trigger? Can I draw?
Yeah, Selvala trigger. I'm going to draw a card. And now I'm going to make 8 mana.
Yeah.
And I can't... I've told the story so many times. It could have been Phyrexian Dreadnought. Either way, I had a lot of mana. But I cast Lurking Predators, turn 3, into a 7-person pod, which is madness.
Insane. Your next board state is it's like the Avengers assembling, dude.
Yeah, and it was funny because everyone realized how much of a problem this was because it was so early in the game. And I was like, wow, this is great. This feels really strong. This feels almost too strong. Yeah. I shouldn't be playing this deck here. This was a mistake. And after that game, my friends who were teaching me how to play Magic, they had a massive collection. They let me go through their collection. Like at the time, like we all just shared cards. They let me take a bunch of cards to make my deck really powerful. And then I realized, hey guys, I'm doing something different with my deck than what you guys are doing because I don't want to play like real basic casual stuff. I want to like be competitive. And I learned that's what cEDH was. And then I took my deck to a cEDH table and got crushed because I didn't know how anything worked. And it was very enlightening, and I loved it. And I wanted to learn more about this really complicated format. And I started playing, and I learned about a deck called Selvala Brostorm. And I got hooked, man. Once I found what I was looking for, it was over. I was like, this is all I want to do. I just want to do this.
So that's that 7-person game is kind of like a core memory where you were like,
for sure.
Oh, this deck hums and it is too powerful for this table, and I need to go find my pot wherever that is at, that I can do this and not feel bad about smacking everybody in the head with 50 creatures on turn 3 or 4, I guess.
100%. And I also learned that like it takes. Some people enjoy that, though. Some people enjoy playing like a really strong deck into decks that aren't quite as strong, and I encourage people not to do that.
Yeah, that's.
But
silly.
For me, it was a valuable lesson that like how I like to play Magic isn't how everyone likes to play Magic, and I have to respect that. And so with that like group of people, I was like, hey, like now when I play with them, I'm like, all right, I have cEDH, or I can borrow one of your decks because your decks are tuned.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
When I play casual, I just bring my cEDH decks, and so many casual players, if you sit down and you don't know them, at least one person in your pod is going to have 50 decks on them. Like one of 3 people are going to be that person, and they will love watching you play their deck. And I love the challenge of being like, I want a random deck. Give me something that I only understand the commander and generally the game plan, and my goal is going to be as politely as possible to win the game with your deck. And enjoy. That's the challenge that I love. It's almost like Piccolo putting on the weights and the hat, and then going, I'm gonna go train over here with nothing. I don't know what's going on.
The best thing, as a cEDH player, I believe that we play a format that's just powerful. Like I don't think it makes players good, but the cards are really good, so it's easy to look like you're a good player. My favorite thing is to take my friend's deck and then win with it in a way that they're not used to. And they're like, how did you wait? You can do that? What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, dude. I got a story for you. I have my buddy, I play casual with him on Tuesdays. We have a local shop that we go to that I learned how to play Magic at. And he has a deck called Girid Mirror of the Wilds. And it comes in and basically it has haste and it gives all your creatures tap, make a copy of a token creature that came into the battlefield this turn. Okay, and it's Naya. So it's a very weird effect. But he was like, this doesn't really draw that many cards. And I was like, interesting. And by turn 3, I think I had like 7 Orin Frostfangs in play that were all swinging, and it like compounded the card draw that each snake gave me, and I drew like 35 cards. I was like, draws a lot of cards for me. I don't know.
Neat.
Yeah. That's interesting. And it was just so fun, man. And like, that's an exact like example of what you just said is like really a true, like a really good, not saying I'm really good, but a good Magic player, a good cEDH player can pick up anything and like a musician almost. If you can take any and just figure it out. You know what I mean? I'm going to make some type of music out of this. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to do it,
Yeah. I would say that like once I got into the format, the thing that I think kept me into the format, this is kind of like, I don't know, byproduct, was the pandemic actually.
Really?
Yeah, because at the time I was working from home, and while I was working from home, I was isolated. I mean, I was just like me, my computer. I had a newborn, and my mother-in-law would come and watch him, and I was just like, I can do so much right now. Like, I can answer an email and play Magic, or like, you know, it's I found myself into this interesting like place, and it was the only place I could like gather community. And so I would say that like the gathering helped me a lot, especially during the pandemic, online. Like introduced me to all these people who would later become like content creators and stuff like that. But I had to develop that network first, and that was all of the people while they were getting good. Like comedian and I came up together. So yeah, that's like I remember brewing with him and being like, hey, what about this deck? Hey, what about this deck? Hey, I found this Commander Kinnan. It's kind of weird. I want to build it a little different. What do you think? And I have like, I remember sending him a screenshot of the first draft of Kinnan on Tapped Out. And like him being like, dude. He's like, this is crazy, bro. Like, I don't know if this is going to work, but you know, it looks like fun. Like, do what you do.
Yeah.
And yeah, but definitely. So yeah, so like if I were to say like the journey to become the cEDH person I am today, it'd be the 7-person game and then finding Discord and finding an online community that like fueled everything to today.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, so it's very, very, very similar journey. Post-pandemic, I started right as the pandemic was ending. So I was like 2022, 23, I want to say, somewhere in there, like when people were allowed to start going back into stores. I did most of my hobbies were very like solitary, so I would do like long distance triathlons and stuff like that, where I would go and run for like a whole Saturday, and then I would come back. And my wife she's into equestrian, so she's got horseback riding, and so she would be gone in the afternoons, and I would come home, and I'd be kind of just hanging out at home waiting for her to come back. And she's like, you should get a hobby that like doesn't involve so much physical activity and kind of like is while I'm at the barn, you can go do something. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go hunt for something. And I think it was like I think I saw like Post Malone on one of the game nights or something, you know, and I was like, well, I like Post Malone. Let me see what this whole Magic thing's about. And so I went into a store, and the store had a standard tournament going on that day. And I showed up like an hour before the tournament, and I was like, hey, can I try this? Like, and the store owner was like, no, absolutely not. If you've never played and you try and play in this tournament, you're going to slow everything down. We're never going to get finished. And I was like, okay, you know, and so I like went home and I was like, nah, I'm going to get really good at this. Like, I'm one of those people that when somebody tells me I can't do something, I'm like, well, I'm going to go become the best possible version of whatever the hell you think I can't be, you know? And so came back and I did okay. I played in another standard tournament and then immediately just jumped into Commander. And then I played like a life gain deck. And I was like, what's the most broken way to gain and lose life or like abuse that mechanic? And it was Crick. And I played Crick like twice in a casual pod. And I was like, oh, no. I'm doing radically different things. I'm like necropotencing for 35 and, you know, reanimating my Gary and killing the table. And these casual people are like, that's not fun. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go find not this, sure. You know. Yeah. So that was kind of my little journey. I mean, it was brutal. I was like, so anyways, Animate did Necromancy, you know, and they were just like, okay. I'm like, sorry. So I ended up going up to cEDH. But yeah, you mentioned something. You are one of the original brewers of Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. I don't think a lot of people know that, actually.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, of a certain archetype, for sure. Yeah.
Big flips.
There's like
the original, like Kinnan, right? Like
the
like into dust mentality type.
Yeah, I would say when Kinnan first like got printed, there was this guy named Pongo who made a deck called House of Mirrors.
Okay.
And the idea was like it was all in on Basalt Monolith. That was the goal. So it ran a bunch of ways to tutor Basalt Monolith, and then it had like a suite that was like full of interaction and stuff like that. But it didn't have seedborn muse or anything like that. The goal of that deck was really linear, and it was good. It was very, very good. And then there was another deck by this guy on Discord. His name was Yankee. He had a Kinnan list called Titanfall, and Titanfall was full of big Eldrazi's. It was like he was like, yeah, like you get same idea, you get Basalt, but now you have all this colorless, you can just cast a bunch of Eldrazi and do like cool stuff with Eldrazi. And I was like, that's pretty sweet. I want to do the same thing, but instead of Eldrazi, I want just really good big creatures that you flip into and have immediate impact. Like you don't with Eldrazi, you don't get cast triggers if you put them on the battlefield with Kin.
Fact, you miss it, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, let me do that, and then like run more stuff that like helps you with that. So maybe there's like cards that are really good at helping you like continue this train. And Seedborn Muse turns out was like one of the really, really good cards in that deck. And so that deck had interaction. It had a lot of it. It was called Mid Power, and Mid Power was like the first iteration of like a mid-range version of Kinnan that wasn't like super turbo on that. And I think that deck helped inspire like Grind Them into Dust, and then that deck moved on into Big Flips, like the deck that I like to play now. And when people started playing like those decks, there are people who are just better at Magic than I am, which is I respect that.
That's objective.
That's okay. Yeah, like it's just I don't play in tournaments. Like I understand. Like I love cEDH. Don't get me wrong, and I wouldn't classify myself as a terrible Magic player, but I'm not like a number one cEDH tournament grinder.
Yeah.
And so there were like these people that were picking up the deck and able to like kind of see some of the areas that, oh, like this isn't that great. I probably wouldn't play this because I'm in a lot of situations where I don't need this kind of card. And so like Grind Them into the Dust became a thing, and then Ian made Abomination, and Waffle made no bad cards, which is like it like saw like, oh, like, hey, Big Flips, you run these cards that are bad, but the deck makes sense, but like just take out Void Winnower. Like we don't need that. Yeah. Let's put a draw engine instead of Void Winnower, and I think we got a solid,
strategy in the current meta. Yeah.
Yeah. And I really like that because those players I personally think are so good, and they're able to like elevate the deck into a place that I don't think I could have taken it alone.
That's interesting. Do you think it's more like you're like going back to like the core, like your original story was about putting big fatties into play, big creatures, and overwhelming the board with creature advantage, and so that's you found the strategy that works best for that with Kinnan. And then other players like Freedom Waffle was on a couple weeks ago, and we went through NBC, and basically like he took me through his like most recent updates and things like that, and we went over like Ipnu Rivlet and how he switched that out for Cephalid Coliseum. No, he doesn't want that anymore because Ipnu is just a cleaner win with Fairy Mastermind. And you're right, it's like I never in my wildest dreams would have like looked through lands and been like, it's that one, like that solved my problem. I think my whole point of what I'm trying to get at is I don't necessarily, it feels weird for you to say like they're better than me, because I feel like you took your preferred strategy for playing the game with at the time in whatever the mid 2020s was the best commander to do that, and you took it to the edge, and it won for a very, very long time, as that archetype, and then the meta just shifted, That's what I think really happened is like, I think it was just an archetypical meta shift, and new cards got printed into the format that made a strategy like NBC more consistent, Yeah.
I agree. I agree with you. My mindset when it comes to like puzzles and challenges and stuff is I love seeking guidance from people who I feel are like better than me at a thing. And so like there are a bunch of people that I think are really good at Magic that have dedicated the time to learn Magic and in a way that I just haven't given Magic. I have definitely dedicated a lot of effort into learning a lot about Magic, but like here's a good example between me and a seasoned vet. There's a commander named Terra. Terra has cEDH turbo deck, ETB, like mill 6, put an enchantment from them into your hand, right? Yep. The backside is a saga, and what's cool is that it creates a non-legendary copy of another enchantment. So you can use like a copy enchantment, and you can play copy enchantment or like a mirror maid and have it come in as nothing, and then you can have the backside of Terra copy it with its first Saga ability, and it creates this infinite thing.
Copies itself.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So it makes this infinite thing, which is sick. It's super, super sick. The first time that happened, I had no idea that was a thing. Like, I was like, okay, what's happening? Oh, you're infinite? I don't have any, I don't know what to do, guys. You got me. Like, you tricked me. You did it. Now, you may not be able to trick me again with that specific combo, but like, you got me the first time. And the difference between me and a seasoned player is that a seasoned player, or a seasoned like tournament grinder, might see the line before getting got by it. And like, there's always those like plays that make you go, something's off, something's weird. Like, why would you have a copy enchantment come in as a copy of nothing? Like, wait, I don't understand. What's going on? And I think that is where players like Waffle or Ian or, you know, Lily, like any of these players that are like really, really good, that play like a lot of Magic at tournaments, that's why I think they see success, is because they question everything and they're like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Because I think that's happening, and then they're able to play around that mentality. And I respect that. I totally respect that. Not to like, I don't want to like, you know, downplay my ability that much, but like, I understand. And I like to go to those people and like, hey, here's my idea.
How old are you right now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 39.
39. Okay, I'm assuming you got kids and a family, right? You're moving a little.
I have a son. He's 6. He's incredible.
Heck yeah, man. And so you got other priorities too. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Not everybody can go and ride these tournaments and fly out, you know, every other week. Like, Waffle came on, he was like, yeah, you know, I met him in Pittsburgh. He's from Mexico, and he was like, I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm like, bro, you're gonna fly back in 2 weeks? What's going on right now? He's like, yeah, it's my life. I just grind. I'm like, geez, dude. I mean, I get that he has a business too, but like, there's players that just do that. They'll travel all year round, all these tournaments. And I'm like, dude, I can't, you know. There's only so much time you can dedicate to the craft, you know.
Evan, by the way, is an entirely different beast. That man, people don't understand. He is a machine. He has so much happening, and he is still crushing. The fact that he still places in tournaments or wins tournaments is bananas to me. Because like, when do you find the time to like remember everything? Because there's so much happening. Yeah.
Dude, we got on there. I looked at his top deck record because I was like, I was just beforehand. I was looking, and I'm like, dude, we've played in the same amount of events this year. Like, you've played in 14, I played in 13. The difference is all of yours are diamonds, and you placed in all of them. Gross.
Yeah, that man knows how to top a tournament. Yeah. All
right. Well, speaking of tournaments, let's do this. Let's do a little pivot here.
Okay.
So we got to basically, okay, now you're a cEDH player. Then comes along a little thing called playing with power, fishbowl. You're getting into more than just playing the game. You're now contributing to the format in a way that is supplemental to just being a good player, right? And brewing cool decks and sharing it with the community. Give me a little insight. Doesn't have to be too long, but just like talk to me about how you got into playing with power and then starting Fishbowl. Can we kind of just transition to that part of your life?
Yeah, for sure. So back to the online stuff, right? Playing on Discord all the time. At the time I was known for playing a deck. It was a Kenrith deck, and it was a Kenrith Evolution was like the name of the archetype.
We're gonna take a look at it. Spoiler alert.
So Kenrith Evolution was it was a lot. I played it a lot. I have like thousands of games on Kenrith, and I play that deck quite a bit. And this guy, his name's Mike, from Playing with Power, shoots me a message. Hey, I'm gonna play your deck on our channel. And I was like, you know what? You got yourself a deal. Let me know if you need to learn anything about it. He plays it. He likes it, and we start talking, and I was like, hey, life is kind of tough. I had like lost my job. Ugh. I was like, hey, do you know of any sort, do you guys like need any help? And then Mike was like, actually, we were just talking about you. We were wondering if you'd be interested in joining the team. And I was like, yes, sign me up. What do you need me to do? And can I do a lot of it? Like, I need to make money. And so I joined the team, and that was in 2021. It's crazy. 2021, and it was awesome because for me, playing with power was like a big part of my cEDH like content watching journey, like watching, you know, game nights, and you watch the professor and cEDH TV and all these like people that like I was super into in the beginning. Notion thieves. Oh man, yeah. Anyways, all these people, laboratory maniacs.
Yeah.
And so watching all these guys, and it was like, wow, you get a chance to be a part of this thing, and I was like, that's super sick. And I loved it. I loved like starting to make content and working with a team that was really dedicated to doing this type of stuff. And that like got me more notoriety, and especially because I live in San Diego, so for me a lot of the time I was just active at the game store already, and then people started to recognize me from playing with power, specifically in the store. That's the only place I get recognized. I don't get recognized out in public.
Yeah. Whoa! Is that Hiram from Playing Power? What's up, bro?
That has never happened to me. Which I'm super glad for. Oh man, I'm so happy.
It's kind of weird. Yeah, you're like, only in the convention center am I known by all. You know,
literally, I'll describe like, I'm like, oh yeah, I play Magic the Gathering. People, oh that's cool. That's like a fun game. And I'm like, yeah, it's really fun. If you ever want to play it, let me know. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then a couple of times, like I'll have a friend be like, oh yeah, I want to play Magic, and I'm like, oh cool, I have all this stuff. And they'll ask me, where do you get all this stuff? Like, oh, I'm sponsored by this like company called Dragon Shield. I have a bunch of stuff. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
They're like, why are you sponsored? Like, well, cause like, okay, so I have this YouTube channel, and they're like, oh, let me. Wait a minute, you have a lot of. Wait a minute, what's going on here? I'm like, okay,
1,000 videos.
Yeah, like there's a lot there, and then yeah, it's so. I got into it, and this created a pathway that I didn't know was going to be a thing, which was people would start coming to me, hey, do you think you're ever going to run an event here in San Diego? And I was like, I don't run events, but I mean, it sounds like we need one. And there's a Discord, the SoCal Discord, shout out to them, who asked like, hey, we would love to have like a tournament here in San Diego, something that, because it's really expensive to run events here. And I was like, all right, let me talk to our local game store, TC's Rockets, and we were able to make the first Fishbowl, which was like the first cEDH event that was local to San Diego, which was cool. And people liked it, and I was like, well, let's do another one, and we did another one, and then slowly just got bigger and bigger, and we just had Fishbowl 7 in June.
Late June,
which was
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that was really cool. It was 211 players. And it was really, really fun. We gave away 15K. We had a legacy event. We had a really fun redemption event. Every year it's a blast. We have tacos, and we give away a lot of things. We give away gift cards and free stuff all over the place. So very, very fun. I always enjoy going to the Fishbowl and doing the Fishbowl. I always have like the week before, I'm always stressing out like, oh man, where are people signing up? Like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
But it's led me to want to like run events and help people with events, and it made me want to become a judge. So I became a judge in 2024.
Oh, that's what's up. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that I could help like with the event. So I've actually judged at the last 2 Fishbowls, and then I judge like small events every couple months.
Why not? On the slide, on the side.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Do you do them at like TCs?
No, I do a lot of online events, and then
cool, okay.
and then like I travel to like large events to judge if they need extra help that are nearby.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, so I like part of me thinking about getting in doing the Highlander series that I do over here in Ohio was like I heard you talk about running Fishbowl on podcasts over the last couple of years, and I was like, you know what? I bet I could run one, you know, and I had a local store out here called Better Plays, That's they did Misplay on the Lake. If you watch that at all, Zach and my buddy Kevin were casting that. And I asked him, I was like, hey man, I'm thinking about getting into this. I just want to kind of do more than just play because I'm just obsessed with this format. And he's like, sure, I'll help you out. I'll help you give you like tournament math logic. And, you know, you just got to find a venue and go that route. And the first one was last spring. We did 67 players at the first one. And then last fall, November area time frame, like we got 90 players. And then I'm going to do it in September. I'm hoping we get over 100, but I'm just kind of like, you know, just doing the same thing. And like the whole model is just like focus on player experience and having fun over like prize, like money and clout and stuff like that. So like I'll give away, I buy a box of whatever the most recent set was, and I'll just give it away like during rounds to players, like a pack to each, you know, pod. Just like I'll roll a D4 and or whatever, a D6, and I'll give a pack away to someone. And then I'll put, let me hear your opinion on this. I put a random pod on the feature. It's small tournament, right? So it's not like a big thing where people are looking for known players, but I'll put a random pod up there, like maybe pod 19 out of 20 will go on the feature match, and I'll give them a bounty to play for, like a hidden card that I got from like Doot Loot. And I'll say, hey, you know, you guys can draw, that's fine, but you can win a $100 card that you don't know what it is. And usually it's like a Japanese foil smothering tide or something like that. And they don't know what it is. It's like in a Doot Loot case. And it incentivizes them to like win on stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
And what do you think about that? What do you think about random Swiss going up into the feature match during the Swiss round?
I think that's a really cool way to compensate people for being on stream. Because at the end of the, right, like I've always struggled with that, because sometimes it's people are playing and they aren't given like they're not compensated for essentially work. Like all of their like plays are being hyper evaluated by hundreds, if not thousands of people, right? They should be compensated for that opportunity. And it's not even an opportunity, like for that burden, I should say.
To like be on a stream playing a game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like everyone's looking at what you're doing, and like I've seen so many like games where people will like just throw the game away on accident. They don't realize they're doing it, and it was an accident. Like it could be round 6, round 7, right? They played a bunch of Magic. Maybe round 5 is a good example because they've been playing Magic all day, and all of a sudden they're like the worst player ever because they threw away on accident. Like, no, bro. Like I went into this pod. I had 4 wins. I didn't think I'd actually have to care. And and like I oopsie daisied, and now I'm the worst Magic player ever. What the hell? Like that sucks.
Right. You know what's funny is I get people
awesome.
like jockeying to go on the stream, because when they realize it's random and like I could pick anybody, they go, hey, put me on a stream. You know, like they'll be like, hey, get me up there. Some people, maybe other people are quietly being like, please God, don't pick me. You know, to go up there.
For sure.
I don't know. I just want people to play 5 rounds, and like you paid 5. My theory with like, we're getting way off track for the interview, but just to close this off, my theory for like playing in a Magic tournament is you paid money to play 5 rounds of Magic. Why would you? I get dropping, but like, why would you not play out the Swiss rounds at least and enjoy 5 games of Magic, or try to win 5 games of Magic? You know what I mean? Like, tournament math and all that stuff, and if you want to get locked and all that, that's fine. I just think it's kind of against the spirit of what you're trying to do, you know, which is play competitively.
I agree. I have a buddy who's working on like a variation of tournaments and how tournaments should be run that actually reward you for playing in the last like pods.
Point wise? Oh God, it's okay, man. Yeah, that's interesting. So that's just to talk while you're sipping the tea. That is why I do the bounty for the pods. Is like it's randomized, so you could lose every single game and then get picked and go into the final pod. And I always do like a scaling value. So I go, hey, dude, here's $500. Give me 5 cards of varying value. So one of them's gonna be like $25. One of them might be 50, but then always there's one that's a bomb. You know, it's like a $200 card. And if you haven't seen that valuable card and you get picked, even if you lost every freaking game, you know you're playing for value in that final pod, and you could win your entry fee plus, you know, if you just win that one game, which I think is cool.
Yeah, sorry, I died for a second.
No, you didn't mean it.
But like the idea is like you're always incentivized to play, and I'm not going to say why you're incentivized to play because that's like on him to like unveil what he wants to do.
It's in the lab still.
Yeah, it's still being cooked. But like, I love the idea of like finding ways to like make games more fun, and I think the idea of like, hey, you're on stream, some other intent might be in a little bag of treats. That's really cool. I think it's really awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Compliment fished. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we cut to you are now higher from playing with power, running the fishbowl every year, growing, right? All of a sudden, talk to me about the phone call you get. Hey, you're a guy in the Magic community. Would you like to be the spokesperson for cEDH for Wizards of the Coast?
Yeah, that was a cool call. So, okay. Context. For those of you who are watching who are unaware, prior to the Commander format panel, the format was ran by the Rules Committee, which is a self-governed body that previously were like the arbiters of the format of Magic, or not Magic, of Commander. And it was made the format Commander by a group of guys, and at the helm, Sheldon Menery, who, rest in peace, brought us this amazing format. The idea to be like fun and not competitive, a way to play Magic in between rounds for judges that could be fun and goofy and do whatever you want. In the 2020s, there was this big thing that happened where the big ban of Mana Crypt, Dockside, Nadu, and Jeweled Lotus got banned all at once, which was a really big change from previous bans, which would only happen one or two at a time every couple of years. And so this was a major like shift in how they were operating. There was a big backlash from the community. A lot of people didn't like the bans, and from that that group gave the reins over to Wizards of the Coast to help manage the format moving forward. Wizards of the Coast then created the Commander format panel, which is led by Gavin Verhey and Aaron Forsyth, to help make sure that the community can connect with the format, to have different voices from different parts of the community, and almost like senators, if you will, to help represent like the interests of people who play at different levels. So whether it's bracket 1, bracket 2, bracket 3, bracket 4, or bracket 5. I have been very involved running tournaments, playing with power, and then more than judging. I've been a part of a lot of different areas of cEDH specifically, and I ended up getting contacted by Gavin. He mentions that, hey, we're interested in having you on the panel because you represent this like spectrum of people. Great, I'm over the moon. Like, yes. Oh my god. I'm going. There's so many things.
White belt on.
Yeah, exactly right. Like let's go.
The analogy.
And I will say that like I didn't know what to expect going onto the panel. I knew what I wanted to happen. Right, I had a ton of ideas. But like for me, the biggest thing is like I want lasting change in the format that is beneficial to everybody. And like so like for me, what I'm really focused on now is a like rules document. That's something I'm really interested in. And this is more like policy. I would love to have like policy for Commander so that people who want to run tournaments have the ability to run tournaments and understand the rule set that comes with it. Okay, how do we determine a winner in certain cases? What's a great way to deal with draws? Is there a second or third different point structure system that can be utilized to help with the draw problem, right? So we want to deal with when people are on the bubble, like how do we determine opponent win rate, stuff like that. So that's like my big project for this year for the Commander format panel is to create this rules document. And then outside of that, I want to make sure that all of the players who play cEDH, anyone in general, but my focus of cEDH, have a place to like voice their grievances. Like, you know, Ristic Study is a big problem. Orcish Bowmaster or Tithe or Mystic Remora. Like, there are all these cards that people always want to talk about. And I will go, yes, I will listen to you. Tell me your problems. And then from there, I just compile the data. Like, here is like, I did a recent survey and it had over 3,000 results on Ristic Study. And it was like pretty comprehensive like survey. And granted, I'm not like a survey maker specialist. Like, and I'm like, I'm going to make mistakes on the questions I ask or how I format them so that they might create some unintentional bias. But I recognize that. But it got a lot of qualitative data. It got a lot of like, here are the hard numbers. Here's what it looks like in a relatively large 3,000 people is a lot of people to me, but it's not a lot of people in comparison to the entire format. But I do want to make sure that like cEDH is represented. Now cEDH is not a super big population of people, and so 3,000 people might be like a decent amount of people in comparison to the size of people who play cEDH.
Yeah, it's tough because you don't necessarily know if all 3,000 of those people play cEDH or if they're casual players that have an opinion about a card. You never know. You know, I mean, unless you put.
Well,
it
that
out
was actually that was a question. Like, do you play
really?
cEDH?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I took the survey, by the way. It's just been months, you know.
Yeah, it was like 93% of the people who took the survey played cEDH.
Well, that's great. Yeah, so I do computer software engineering and then statistics on the side. So I do know that, like, for sure, 3,000 people is a large enough sample size to get a good ratio of total public opinion. You know, compared to, I think in Top Deck, I think there's like 10,000 players in the Top Deck. Whatever leaderboard you want to say, like games recorded players.
Oh, sure, sure.
So you can kind of use like a comparison there, but the larger the sample size, the better. But you definitely got with 3,000 players a good directional take on it for sure. Okay, so rules. Let's go back to the priorities. So the rules set that you are doing as a TO, I'm very interested in that. I think that's awesome. Are you getting like support from people at Wizards to do this, or is it just other people on the panel, or is it mostly just a solo project and you're kind of getting feedback from people that play cEDH and TOs, and then you're presenting it to Wizards, or how's that going about? If you can talk, by the way.
Yeah, it's definitely the latter, right? The support I'm getting is from like other judges, and I will always reiterate this. I really value people who are better or smarter than me at things. Like leaning on their expertise to make the thing the best that it can be is what I want. And so I really try to like shelve my ego when it comes to like these big projects. But yeah, I have help from like a couple L5s, an L3, and I'm trying to like make this as broad as possible. So like I have like European judges, I have a bunch of US judges, and I have a judge from South America. And the idea is to like understand how Magic is played in their areas, because there was this big conversation that I had with the European team that Ristic Study isn't the same in Europe as it is in America. And like we hyper prioritize Ristic Study and we play our games regarding that. But in Europe, it's not quite as big of a conundrum for them because they don't see it as much, because they just try to push wins. If you are unfamiliar with like the Finnish meta, it's super turbo and like super like get crushed really fast.
It's hilarious because you think about a Finn. I think about like a Finnish person as being extremely polite and reserved. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then
what's more polite than not playing Ristic? I mean, come on.
Yeah, so I'm asking, you know, like
yeah. So so I'm getting a lot of support there, and then I've talked to a couple of the members of the Commander Format panel. Like when I'm ready to present this like document, would you be willing to like review it and give me feedback? And they've said yes, which has been great. But it's all a matter of like how you want to invest your time. I think for the long term, that's my big thing, and then for the short term, it's more just creating access and making sure that people who have concerns can voice their concerns and know that those concerns can be elevated somewhere.
It feels really smart to do it that way. And your point about calling on people that are smarter than you, that I think there's so many advantages to doing that, because it allows you to get a more complete picture of the opinion of like people who are educated in the space, and you're essentially the nexus of that information. And then you just basically make an informed decision based on what people are telling you. And that does a couple things. Number one, it gives you that complete picture. And number two, when you do ultimately, if you all decide to present whatever you complete, in whatever form that it's in, you can say, this wasn't a decision I made in a tower alone. It was a decision that was made with the information provided to me by all these people that are very smart in the space. And so that allows people to just kind of accept it and ingest it because everybody in the cEDH players are extremely opinionated. You know this. We all have our crazy opinions about the format, and we're right and everybody else is wrong. Not everybody, but a lot of people. The loudest voices are. And so if you can present them with a preponderance of evidence that says, here is why we're trying this, or we're going to move forward with these types of rule sets that we're going to equip TOs with, and then you basically, you're saying it as a group of people, not just an individual. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I had something else and I'm losing it. I'm like you right now. I'm just I need some tea. I need something on the side to give me a nice educated pause.
There it is. Let me think about this thought for a second.
Oh, that was it. Deciding to ban a card, as you were talking about different cultural cEDH formats and metas, it made me think, something I don't think about every day is maybe Ristic Study is so prevalent in America because of our almost like a cultural ecosystem of how we communicate in a game. And you're saying Finnish players are more just turbo. And then I know for a lot of people have told me about the Japanese meta, how it's very quiet and they don't do a lot of politicking. They more just put their spells in the stack and move on with their day, which sounds so refreshing. But maybe that's why Ristic Study is the problem in our specific sociocultural space, is because we are yep. And I've thought about it as maybe because cEDH originated in America, maybe we're a more mature meta, just we've found that certain strategies have worked. But I don't think that holds water because we're so global as a society. I can go play with a guy in Europe on Spell Table if I want to tomorrow. And so I feel like a lot of that stuff is being disseminated. And so to me, maybe it feels more like a sociocultural thing where maybe it's just something that America has to figure out, and everywhere else it's actually fine. And I there's a bunch of people that I play with in my locals that are going, no, Sean, tell Heuristic Study sucks and ban it. I'm like, look, man, it's not that simple, Yeah. And also, go ahead, sorry.
No, keep going. You said, and also?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I do feel like the last 2 months, so I played in Pittsburgh, I played in Columbus, and a couple of these other big Excalibur events locally just because they're close to me, and Ristic Study didn't feel like that big of a problem in those games. I only distinctly remember one game where I got blown out of the water by that card, and it was because Andy Beach was sitting in seat 1 before a Ral player, and he was playing Rog Ishai and put a freaking Ristic Study out, and Ral went, and we died, because he drew 100 cards and killed us. Also partially my fault, just for the Ral player that's listening. Understood. I kind of freaked out and countered one of his things that I shouldn't have. Anyways. So anyway, my whole point was, it feels like almost, I kind of want to read through the crystal ball of Hire's mind for a second. It feels like almost you're letting the community deal with the problem while just being a sounding board almost, and saying okay, I'm going to keep a pulse check and make sure it really isn't a big problem, but let's all be adults and try and figure out the issue and see if we can develop cool, unique strategies around it, right? To basically counteract what we're seeing and essentially solve it.
Yeah,
does that sound right?
Yeah, for sure. I always compare Ristic Study to Flash, and the idea is when Flash was legal, the amount of people who wanted Flash banned was overwhelming. It was everybody wanted Flash. I don't think you played Magic when Flash was.
I was right after it. Yeah.
So the landscape for Flash was people were not casting spells if 2 mana was open on anyone's board who had blue.
That sounds so bad.
And yeah, it's oh, you have 2 mana open. He could have Flash Hulk in hand, and there was a ton of ways to get Hulk into hand. It was so easy. It was there was a bunch of creature tutors that just put the card in the hand. Your Imperial Seal, your Vampiric tutors were super, super scary.
Oh yeah, all the unconditional tutors, yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts. Anyways, Flash was such an easy spell to play. And it made it so that the boards were no one was casting spells. And you see a little bit of that when there's when there's like 2 or 3 Ristics on board, and all of a sudden everyone's like, okay, like, fuck it, I'm just gonna cast spells, and then all of a sudden the board blows up, right? Like that is like happens every single time, and so the thing is that people are not thinking that is as big of a problem. They experience it once and like, man, this sucks, I never want to play against this again, and then they start saying how much they hate Ristic, and then they play Ristic again, and they're like, oh, this is actually not that bad. But Flash was never that way. Flash had this big thing, and so I do the surveys and I do all this stuff to give people some, like, a bit of like a reflection of half the format doesn't really feel the way you feel. It's like right dab in the middle. It's not even like 60-40. No, it's like 51-49.9. You know what I mean? Yep. And when you have that, I think you can't be so gung-ho about banning a card. Now, that shouldn't be the only metric you utilize to ban a card. There also has to be like, how are the play patterns around this card? Now, the play patterns are starting to get pretty rough, like especially with the advent of Rogishai and it being successful at doing the no bad cards thing with Jeskai. I think like we're a couple of cards away from like, all right, we got to get rid of this. This is nuts. I also think we should make treasures legendary, but that's another conversation.
Fire idea. Oh my God, what a cool idea. I love it.
Oh my God, Leyline Singularity, just saying.
Yeah, man. Or make Ristic Study a world enchantment. Somebody brought that up before. So there can only be one on the field at any given time.
At any time, I'm down. Give it to me.
Sweet, yeah.
But the big thing about any of these is that people have to really want and speak in like a way that can gain attention and get a little bit of a stronger support than just people saying, I don't like this card. Give me play patterns. Give me like how is this card making the format bad, and is it making it bad in every game? Is it constant? Because I don't know, I've been to a few tournaments and I just didn't see it being as big of a thing. And then in some tournaments I see it and it's everywhere. Everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah, man.
So
for sure. Yeah. And also I kind of just, before we talked, I was kind of reflecting on like how I wanted to talk about this specific, subject. And I gotta like put myself in your shoes for a second. Okay. First year, anybody from cEDH has been allowed to be, have a voice officially on a format panel like at Wizards. Am I just going to like fall to the whim of everybody that says they hate a card? And then, also you're one of many people on a format panel. It's not just like you can say, hey, bracket 5 says no Ristic Study, ban it. And you know what I mean? And then Gavin's like, you got it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how it goes, right?
No. Yeah. No. If that's how it went, brother, our format would look very weird.
Yeah?
Yeah. If I had sole custody of the ban list, oh man.
Dude, can we get into that? You want to go into that for a second?
What's the format look like? Hire himself.
Hire cEDH, yeah.
Not the reflection of the Commander format panel, just for those who are watching.
We're going into an alternate universe, another Marvel dimension where Hire is Gavin Verhey.
I'm banning Tithe Ristic. I'm probably banning Orcish Bowmaster. I'm unbanning a lot of stuff. I'm unbanning Iona Griselbrand.
Ooh, fire.
Emrakul. I'm probably unbanning. Probably unbanning Rofelos.
Oh, thank God. I have one in my case over here. I have all those cards.
I'm trying to think of other cards I'd want. All the other cards, it's hard for me to like truly want to unban it. I'm probably Recurring Nightmare. I'm unbanning.
Oh, yeah, man. Recurring Nightmare?
Yeah.
I think that's fair is a weird term, but I feel like it's not that bad. You know what I mean? In comparison to the other strategies today.
Yeah. Yawgmoth's Bargain I'm probably unbanning too.
6 mana? Come on.
6 mana. We already have anything that says I'm more than 3 mana draw a card I'm unbanning it because we have Necro. Like, what are we talking about?
What are we talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm probably unbanning all of those cards, and I'm probably banning Tithe, Ristic, and Bowmaster probably going.
It sounds like you're saying enough of this passive bullshit. play the game.
Yeah,
You know?
You get there. I still think there's draw engines that are like viable. Like I still think people people probably replace Ristic with like a Polywog Prodigy or like some other draw engine. I just don't think it's okay to have a card like Ristic Seti where every spell gets taxed. I don't think
so ubiquitous. Yeah. It's challenging to play around, dude, and yeah, it's tough. So all right, look, we are a decent chunk in. We're an hour in, so let's hop over to some decks. I want to just take you through the things you love to play. Let's start talking about let's get in the weeds.
Let's do it.
Okay, let me share my screen here. Don't freak out on me. You can do it. Okay, here we go.
Boom. Big flips.
Start with this. Let's start with the big flips, the big boy. This is what you play currently today, correct?
Yeah.
We love Galta, the Stampede Tyrant.
We do love ourselves a Galta. Yeah.
Talk to me about the difference in this strategy from No Bag Cards, which is what most people know Kinnan to be today, sadly.
Yeah. So this version of Kinnan is really trying to snowball out of control really quickly. There's a ton of mana. We're on 35 creatures. A ton of mana and a ton of ways to put creatures onto the battlefield for no mana. And just win off of it. There's a lot of combos in the deck that say if you have a Lurking Predators, you can just win the game if people cast enough spells into you. The deck, it feels a little wonky because we were on Thassa's Oracle, which is like a weird card to play in Kinnan. But it is a clean win con if the idea is that we have Thrasios and activation mana. Like we can activate, put all of our creatures onto the battlefield, and including a Thassa's Oracle. With a Thassa's Oracle ETB, we can roughly go down to 15 cards left in library and win the game with Devotion equal to 15, right?
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't think about that. Your Devotion can be so high because you're putting all your freaking creatures on the battlefield.
Yep.
Yeah.
The big thing here is that, like, okay, so there's a ton of... This deck's really complicated, although it may not feel that way because you're just thinking just put big creatures out. But, like, here's, like, a line that you can do that's legal in this deck, technically. There's a creature named Astral Dragon. It's the first, like, card on the top left. It's it enters the battlefield. You create 2 tokens that are copies of non-creature permanent, except for the 3/3 dragon creatures in addition, and they to their other types and have flying. All right, that's cool. Whatever. Let's say you have an Astral Dragon on the battlefield, and it came in and made 2 Ristic studies because that's what was available to you at the time. You also got an Enduring Vitality. Enduring Vitality is a creature, green creature, that says all creatures you control have mana abilities now. When it dies, it returns to the battlefield under your control, and it's an enchantment. It's not a creature. Okay. Now, there's a clone in this deck called Gigantoplasm. Gigantoplasm can enter the battlefield as a copy of any other creature, but it also has the ability, pay 0, this creature gains power, base power, and toughness XX. So what you do is you have it come in as a copy of Enduring Vitality, and then you kill it by sacking itself, and when it comes back, it's an enchantment. Now you can have it come back as an enchantment of an Astral Dragon. And when it does that, the Astral Dragon will ETB. It can target 2 non-creature permanents, and you have one target the Enduring Vitality Gigantoplasm, that is now an Astral Dragon, and then the other target whatever else you want. And this can make infinite Astral Dragons, and then you can just cast Thassa's Oracle with infinite blue Devotion.
Yeah, you could do that. That's something you could do.
Yeah. But like, there's a bunch of like lines like that. It's such a like layered deck, but but this deck, it does that kind of thing. And also, like, we realize I realized at a while back that I was like, I need more interaction in the deck. What can I do? And I was like, Kozilek the Great Distortion is just disrupting Shoal. Like, that's I can
stick.
Yeah, on a stick. Yeah, it's also 12/12 with Menace. I mean, that's also cool.
That's also very cool. Yeah, and it's basically a second Glenelendra, but better.
but better.
Right.
Yeah. And as you can see, like this deck is also on a lot of card draw, like Unagi, and it's on Consecrated Sphinx, right? This is like all geared to get you cards. We're also on different clubs like Astral Dragon and Clever Impersonator to copy the Ristics and the Tithes and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's a fun deck. It's really wonky, and we put a lot of love into it, and it mulligans better than no bad cards for sure.
Yeah, you're like, I have all this mana and nothing to do with it and no bad card. A formidable speaker, which goes and gets me my combo to win the game.
Yep.
I was just asking you, no Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi is in the deck now.
Okay.
It is definitely in the deck. I think I just haven't updated. I think it took the place of Unagi.
And probably enables a bunch of ridiculous combos, I would assume.
Yeah, Shang-Chi's a silly card. Shang-Chi goes infinite, by the way, if you didn't know. Shang-Chi goes infinite with Deadeye Navigator. Yeah. Because it has haste, and then it makes an additional blue.
You blink it.
Yeah, you just keep blinking.
Oh my god. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what? Okay. So they both have that ability, right? And so basically what you do is you tap Shang-Chi for 3, you activate the ability for Deadeye Navigator, you flicker the Shang-Chi, you soul bond it again.
Yep.
Does it have to be re-soul bonded?
Yep, every time.
Every time. And then you just make infinite mana of infinite
any
color. So long as you have Kinnan out, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. That's crazy. Oh my. Okay, so any other notables here?
The biggest thing in this deck is cards like Machine God's Effigy and Trinisphere and Monster Manual. Those are all like unique to this deck. We're trying to make infinite mana with Devoted Druid with the Machine God's Effigy. Machine God's Effigy also goes infinite with Astral Dragon the same way that the other thing did, the Enduring Vitality Gigantoplasm. Like it does the same exact thing. You have Machine God's Effigy come in as a copy of Astral Dragon, and then you can just make infinite whatever you want. Monster Manual is really fun because you can put a creature on the battlefield for free. For 2 mana, and then Trinisphere is my silence effect basically.
Beautiful. Okay, excellent list, man. I love Monster Manual. I think I've seen this card like once.
Yeah,
that's freaking sweet.
Super sick.
Okay, let's talk about. So let's stay on the Kinnan track real quick. Let's go all the way back.
Oh man,
you want to shout any of these people out? You can, but
yeah,
this is it hasn't been touched since 2021. The OG. You have Hull Breacher in here. It's bring you back.
Yeah. So this list was the first. It was a list that all of the people who brewed this list, we came together in a Discord call and we're like, let's make the definitive Kinnan list. And everyone's like, all right, cool, let's do it. And Flash Andretti, he owns the Kinnan Discord to this day.
Nice.
And so he was the one that actually got me into playing Kinnan in the first place, which is really cool. Cool piece of lore. And the idea here was this list is a fusion of what mid power would become, and then what the House of Mirrors deck was doing. And so the idea here is where this deck is heavy on the plan of getting a Basalt Monolith and winning the game. That's how you can win with Prophet of Distortion. You can also do the same thing with Thrasios. And then Trophy Mage, it's like Trophy Mage, clone Trophy Mage, get both pieces and win the game.
Yep. Excellent, man. What about the Drakes? The Drakes are interesting right now in the meta. I played Volatile Storm Drake in my Rog Thras. That thing put in work, man. It was stealing so many good creatures. Stealing
creatures apparently is back in action, and I hate it. That's
no! Propaganda. Don't steal creatures.
Don't steal my
strategy,
please. I have some.
Yeah, leave them alone.
No, it's valid. It's a valid way to win the game for sure.
Yeah. What else?
Yeah. So this was trying to do Time Twister loops. That's how it won the game.
Can you kind of just indulge me for a second? How do I perform a Time Twister loop?
Yeah, so if you scroll down, there should be in the artifacts. Just want to make sure I'm not crazy. Yeah, so there's a dramatic reversal and Ice Crown Scepter. So the idea here is that you can kit an Isochron Scepter, and then you can copy the Isochron Scepter. With one Isochron Scepter, you have Dramatic Reversal, and the other one you have a Swan Song. And then you can you can use Twister to loop your deck and continue to put like infinite Swan Songs and infinite Dramatic Reversals onto the stack and make infinite birds. And then you just keep twistering yourself with it. It's really crazy. It's like there's so much because you have to use Endurance in order to get Twister back, and then you like use Thrasios to like draw the deck. It's a lot. And so but you would eventually make infinite birds, and then you can like attack with them using Finale of Devastation. Or you can like there's a ton of ways to like win with this. But like that's what this deck was doing before. Was trying to use Time Twister to loop your deck. And then just you have a lot of interaction, you have a lot of ways to fight everybody, so you don't really care if like someone tries to counter a spell that you're doing. You already have infinite mana at that point.
And then people figured out like the Pongify loop with Endurance, right? Which I would butcher if I tried to say it, but I would think that's because the only reason I bring that up is because I feel like that's why people kind of came off of Time Twister when they were on Grind Them into Dust, is they were like, let me max on these creatures and I can find more mana efficient ways to do the exact same kind of theoretical thing, like looping my deck and getting insurmountable value. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool, man. Yeah, wait. Arkham's Ass. What is this?
Yeah, it's another one. Draw a card. It turns mana into mana.
It's cantrip. Yeah. Nice. Cool.
Mm-hmm. And that makes 1 into 2 mana.
We love Memory Jar. Memory Jar's sweet.
That is a sweet card.
All right, man. Last one. Let's talk about the evolution.
Yeah, Kenrith Evolution. So this was like, oh man, this was my jam for a long time. Actually, I have Kenrith rebuilt. I have it live in front of me right now. Yeah.
What?
I do. I started playing Kenrith again. Boop. Oh. There it is.
There it is.
Okay. So Kenrith Evolution is like a 5-card pile of good stuff. With the intention in this deck is to actually get Kenrith out and activate them. I like using Kenrith as like a Swiss Army knife.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of really wonky stuff you can do in this deck. We're on Stormkilling Artist. We're on I'm trying to think of the other things to make treasures. We're on Ragavan. We are on Smothering Tithe. I think
Lotho.
We're on Lotho. A lot of ways to make treasures. If you scroll down, in the sorceries, I am on Culling Ritual, Demonic Tutor, Diabolic Intent. One card that I'm in on my paper list that I haven't updated this on because I haven't updated this list in a while is Evolution, or Neoform. Eldritch Evolution is out, and in place of that is Ominous Harvest, which is a black sorcery that has Gravestorm. So the idea here is to get a tithe out early, crack a bunch of treasures, and then Gravestorm and draw like 20 cards.
Yep. That's cracked, man.
Pretty sweet.
Ominous Harvest is popping up more and more, man. I feel like somebody just won with that on Play to Win last week. Like, it's becoming a thing. Any really Storm good card, I feel like Storm and Split Second are really in fashion right now.
Yeah. I think I was talking to Max P about this early when the card got like spoiled. Gravestorm is a unique mechanic because you don't need to cast a bunch of spells to make Gravestorm good. You just have to sack a bunch of stuff. So treasures specifically are amazing in that situation. You sack 10 treasures, you cast this thing, you now have 10 copies, and you've only cast 1 spell. Like, that's amazing. That's so good, you know?
Yeah.
And it goes really well with cards like Stormkilling Artist and Underworld Breach.
Mm-hmm. Brain freeze, make, I don't know, umpteen million treasures, do it again with Scott.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so like here's an example. If you are on Stormkilling Artist, Ominous Harvest, you can go and breach. You can go breach, crack.
That's busted.
Yeah. Gravestorm, make a bunch of treasures, then recast the then you cast Ominous Harvest, and then you can start killing your opponents if you silence them.
Wait. How does it kill you mean just like kill your opponents with the literal infinite mana you're about to make and draw your entire deck?
No, you don't draw. You're gonna. My opponents are gonna, because they lose a life every card they draw.
Oh. So you can. It's target player.
Yeah.
Oh. So you silence everybody. And you go, cool. I'm gonna loop Gravestorm. Using Underworld Breach and just make you guys draw your deck.
Yeah.
Bye. Yeah. Wow.
There it is. Ominous Harvest and then sorceries.
There it is. Gravestorm. When you cast a spell, copy it for each permanent put into a graveyard from the battlefield this turn. Target player draws a card and loses 1 life. It's Yawgmoth Bargain on a stick. On a storm stick. 2 and a black. So that's why, okay, I see. So you can force, target player, you can force your opponents. It is interesting. It can be redirected, which is funny.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet.
Awesome, man. Anything else you want to chat about with Kenrith?
Yeah, this deck was a labor of love between a bunch of people. This was part of the original Evolution project with a guy named Alton and Comedian. And later accepted. This guy named Alex was really good on Kenrith, and he was doing a lot of innovation. So I was like, let's just be on the same deck. But really, really fun. I hope if you guys are interested in playing Kenrith, play it. You can also join. Any of these have Discords. If you are interested, you can find them. They're super easy to find, but they are very active Discords. So feel free to join.
Awesome, man. All right, I have been held you long enough. The last thing I'll ask is shout-outs. What's in the future, and is there anybody you would like to say? You've been shouting a lot of people this episode, but is there anybody in particular you'd like to say, hey, thanks, appreciate you, or anybody in the Magic space?
So many people. I would like to shout out my boy Max P. Dude is incredible.
I love his podcast.
Guy. Yeah, he is awesome. I would also like to shout out my guys from the Crit League. Play with them a lot. I like to shout out all of my California dudes. Man, they're really crushing it right now. They're doing so much work to make California, like in the West Coast, just like a place to play Magic, like in a competitive level. Like Zach and my Boros goat, Wayne.
Wayne, I love Wayne, dude.
Yeah, like just everyone seems to be doing a lot of really, really good work right now, and I'm just like really proud of them. Also, I can't leave like my team at Playing with Power. Like everybody is just really like has their heads down, really working hard, making sure that the content's great and that everyone can expect good things from us. And then my cousin, Silver Dreamer himself, I play a lot of Magic with him, and he's one of the people who got me into Magic in the first place, so I'll shout him out. Yeah. Those are my shout outs for today.
Awesome. Hi, dude. Thank you so much for being on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. See ya.